So just when you think life is done with all of the topsy-turvy ups and downs and maybe it's finally flattening out, my December 15th started off as a normal day, normal work day, going to a couple of buildings, handling some things for some families. Received a text message from my daughter and said, "Hey, let's meet at Applebee's later." And honestly, I was tired, and my original response was, "Nope, I think I'll pass. I won't go to Applebee's later. I'll catch up with you guys later in the weekend." As the day went on, I changed my mind and I text, "Sure, absolutely, let's meet at Applebee's." And that turned out to be the greatest decision that I could ever make. We went to Applebee's, my daughter, along with her 6 children, and had a wonderful time. We departed ways with, "I'll see you tomorrow," when we wrap gifts. Tomorrow never came for Jaleesa. At 3 a.m. on December 15th, I received a knock on my door that changed my life forever. And I was met with a story that didn't quite make sense to me that said, "Jaleesa was in a car accident, but we don't know what hospital they took her to." So got my husband up, got dressed, got in the car, started calling every hospital in the city. And in my city, there's 3 major ones. And every response I got was, "We don't have a patient here by that name." I have watched enough crime shows to know that that generally means that there's something else going on. I went through my phone and realized I had a missed call from an ER doctor. And I immediately called back. And she said, "We need you to get to Akron General Cleveland Clinic now." So we make a U-turn, we fly, we go through every red light, every stop sign. My husband's like, "I need to find a parking spot." I was like, "No, you need to drop me off at the door." I go in and I say, "My name is Alexandra Thomas and I'm looking for my daughter, Jaleesa Buchanan." At that time, the chaplain comes out. And at that point, I am very aware of what I am now facing. By the time my husband makes it into the hospital, I am wailing. And they take me back to identify my daughter's body. And I learned that she had not been in a car accident, that she had been murdered. That evening earlier, she was hanging out with some friends, as young people her age have the right to do. And they were getting into her car so she can drop them off and return home to her children. And a gentleman got into the back seat with a loaded handgun, and he shot my daughter. After I gathered myself, I remember it as clear as could be. I went from wailing to immediately gaining composure because I needed to go get my grandchildren. I began to make phone calls to my son, to members of the church to meet me at Jaleesa's house, and I arrived at my daughter's house to tell her 3 eldest children that their mother was no longer with us. After a long time in the judicial system and getting charges changed from being a simple misdemeanor to fighting for a felony charge, it's finally time for sentencing. We arrive at the courthouse, myself, my oldest grandchildren, folk from the church, folk from the community. Akron Beacon Journal's there because everybody's waiting to hear, what will this youth pastor say of this prominent church in the city? What will her response be? And as we began to give impact statements, my oldest granddaughter was first, and she just began to weep as she began to give her impact statement and what it meant to her to grow up without her mother now, and person after person, from family friend to community member to my mother. And then it was finally my turn. It took forever for me to be able to say that Jaleesa had been murdered. I would always say Jaleesa passed away, but the reality was that she had been murdered. I had a wonderful statement written out, and all I could utter to the young man was, "I forgive you. I forgive you." And the forgiveness, I told him, was not because you had not done anything wrong, not because I excuse what you have done, But one, that's what my daughter would have wanted me to do. My Jaleesa had the biggest heart, was the biggest carer. She, oh my goodness, she loved unconditionally. I would say, that's not your friend. And she'd be like, but mom, they have this going on. But mom. But it was for me. It was for my grandchildren. It was for our family to be able to move forward. And I remember asking God if this is a character building exercise. My character has been forged in the fire many times. I am sure that you can find somebody else's whose character needs to be refined. But through this, I have found that I am a source of hope for others who have lost their children. There's no name for us. It's not something anyone can understand unless you have experienced it. It changes the trajectory of your life. But when people say, I don't know how you do it, and I can say, it's because of God. It's how I do it. And He gives me the grace and the strength and the hope to know that even in my missing my Jaleesa, even in our grief and her children's grief, that one thing we hold is that we'll see her again. But for others, that you will get through this. And it looks different every day. The grief comes in waves. The joy comes in waves. But through this pain, this part of my story is centered in hope. And a hope that there is a God who hears, a God who sees, and a God who comforts. That's my story.